Hi kids, it's time for art class. I am Miss Roz, and today I'll be your PACE teaching artist. In today's video, we will be doing a guided drawing of an owl. A couple of weeks ago, I discussed sounds and how an artist, Kandinsky, used everyday sounds and music to make his art. And today, we will think about the sounds that some animals make to help them survive, grow, and meet their needs. Who can make an owl sound? That's right, it's hoo, hoo. There are many different owls, and they are found all over the United States. And believe it or not, they each make different sounds. In today's project, you will just need a piece of white paper and your crayons. And then you might need another small piece of paper like this so we can make a speech bubble for what your owl will say. And then you'll use your scissors and a small dot of glue to stick your speech bubble onto your owl drawing, like this one. Let's talk about some facts that you may or may not know about owls. Owls are active at night because they are protecting their territory from other owls. They can rotate their head all the way around, 360 degrees. They hunt insects, small mammals like mice, and other birds. They have powerful talons, which are their claws, which help them catch and kill their prey. They have unique feathers and big wings that enable them to fly almost silently. They have large eyes and a flat face, which make them look wise. Have you ever heard that expression of a wise old owl? The pictures you see are paintings by a famous artist named John Audubon. While you are listening to the sounds, look at the paintings he made and notice the textures you see in the feathers. Artists use lines and colors to make the feathers seem more realistic in their art. We will draw the owl's feathers later in our project. The type of owls you are hearing are a barn owl, a screech owl, and a great horned owl. Now let's get ready to draw. Get your crayons and paper out on your desk. Write your name at the top with your pencil. I'm going to use a black marker so you can see me. We're just going to do some practice on the back with our pencil, different ways artists can show texture. Texture means how something feels. Animals have all sorts of textures. Let's think about how artists would show a furry animal like a kitten or a bunny. Here's a photograph of those two animals. They're both mammals, so that means they have fur on their outside. How would you show fur? Let's just practice some lines. I'm thinking fur looks like very tiny zigzags. Can you practice some of those with me? I can see the zigzags on the kitten's fur right here. Can you see those? All along the edges of the fur? Look like little tiny zigzags. Think about maybe when you try to draw a bunny or a kitten. Like if you're drawing a bunny, does this bunny look as if he has texture, if he's furry? No, he's just plain white. But what if I added little dash lines like this? Are you practicing with me? Doesn't he look like he has some fur now? So artists can add lines and colors and shapes, and that makes them look more realistic. Let's think about snakes. Snakes are reptiles. Look closely at this snake's skin. I can see all sorts of shapes. Can you? So artists, when they want to make a scaly animal, they may have to draw very close shapes. I'm drawing some circles. Does that look like scales to you? Yes. I've even seen where some snakes have diamond shapes really close, like that. So artists have to put shapes to make it appear scaly. Scaly is a texture. What about a fish? They have scales as well. So sometimes when you draw a fish like this, does this fish have any texture? No, he doesn't. But what if we did this little curved line? Now does he appear to have scales? Yes. So just by putting these little curvy lines like this and lines, it makes the animal look more realistic. How about feathers? That's what we're going to have to draw when we make the owl, right? Let's look closely at these owls. Look at their chest. Their chests are filled with many, many feathers pointing down. Look at their wings. Can you see the lines that show each individual feather? Look at their eyes. Even the feathers around their eyes. I see circles and then feathers all the way around their eyes and more circles. Do you see all those? Look at that pointy beak. He looks as if he could eat a mouse. What shape do you see when you look at his beak? I see a diamond, right? So let's practice some of those things. So if we're going to make the owl's beak, we want it to be a diamond. So I make the top part of a triangle like this. And then the bottom part of the triangle upside down. And that could be a good diamond. He might have big eyes like this. And then feathers all the way around his eyes. So we're trying to make the owl look feathery. So by adding lines and shapes and details, the owl looks more realistic. How about this chicken? Does he have feathers? Yes, I can see his feathery tail and the feathers on his head. Great. So do you get the idea? Next time you draw an animal, don't just leave the animals blank inside. Try to fill in with some lines and colors or shading to make it look more realistic. Now it's time to start our owl drawing. I want you to turn your paper over to the clean side. This can be any sort of owl you'd like it to be. We're going to be using our lines and shapes today to draw the owl. Then we're going to add lines and colors to add texture to our picture. I want you to follow along drawing with me. Let's draw with our black, or if you can't find your black, another dark color crayon or a marker will do. Put your paper up and down. We call this portrait style. Do you have your paper like this? Great. We're on the clean side. Our practice is on the back. The first thing we're going to make is near the top. Can you put your finger near the top? We're going to come down just a little bit right in the middle of our paper. Can you tell where the middle is? If you can't, let's fold our paper like this. Let's fold our paper in the center long ways. So now, if we match the corners, we can open it up, and there's a line that shows you exactly where the middle is. Now do you know where it is? Great. So here's the top. I'm going to come down to about right here and put a little dot. This is going to be kind of like the feathers above the owl's eyebrows. I'm not sure exactly what kind of owl we're going to draw. We're going to make kind of a V line that way to the left and then one to the right. Can you make that? So diagonal to the left and diagonal to the right. I left a little space at the top for the place where the owl has ears. Great. Now remember, the owl's eyes are so large. So we have to make a circle, and the circle is going to be attached to this V. So I want you to watch me first. So it's kind of like a half circle or 3/4 circle. Watch me. I'm going to draw right like this. I'm making a big circle, and I'm coming around to that part of the eye. So it makes a very large owl eye. Next, I want you to come to the other side and make another one that attaches to that one. Now we have two very large owl eyes. Got that? Good. Now let's put the dark circle in the middle. That's his pupil. That helps him to see. Just a small circle, and you're coloring it in like this. This is going to be a night sky, and those owl's eyes are going to be glowing. So find your yellow, and I want you to go ahead and color in your eyes. Your black may mix a little bit in with the crayon. That's what happens. But that's okay. It just looks more natural like that. So color your owl's eyes yellow so they'll be glowing in the night sky. Later we'll add some more details to those. Great. Got that? I'm going to make an extra ring of circles around the eye for more feathers. My owl's eyes are glowing and growing bigger for his head. So you have another row? You might want to add some dash lines or maybe some zigzags inside of this. What do you think? Can you add some more details so this looks more realistic, some texture? Great. Now I want you to connect the top of his head. It's just a slight curve from this side to the other side. Can you do that? I'm adding my lines. Make sure they're very tall up here. That's kind of where the owl's ears are going to go. Now, do you know what part of the owl is going to go right between his eyes? The beak. And what shape did we say the beak was? A diamond. So, in this little space, I'm going to try to fit the top of the triangle. Remember we talked about it? Kind of looks like an Indian teepee, like that. I can tell my line is right in the middle. My beak is going to be in the middle of his face. Now here's the bottom of the beak. There's the bottom of the beak. Did you get your diamond straight? What's a good color for a beak? I'm choosing orange, but you can choose whatever color you'd like. This is your owl, and you're the artist, so you get to make some choices. on the colors. So now we can see where the beak is. Great. Got that? All right, so he has a head. His head is a smaller oval and his body is going to be a larger oval. So I'm going to go back up near the top at this line. Do you see where Miss Ross has her crayon? And I'm going to go around the eyes, around the beak, around the other eyes, all the way back up to here. And we can connect this. So he has an owl. There's our owl head. He kind of has some feathers over here. So I'm going to make about 3 zigzags. 1, 2, 3. That shows his little ear feathers that might be right here. And later we can add some details around here. Let's get the owl drawn first. Now, his talons, that's his claws, are going to be way down here at the bottom. And he's going to be sitting on a branch. So we're going to leave space at the bottom for the branch. Now, do you think an owl is skinny? He really isn't, is he? No, he has a lot of plumage. That means a lot of feathers. Watch, Miss Roth. I'm going way to this side of his head, and it's kind of a curved line. I'm going to stop about right here. That's the left side of the owl. Now, let's make the right side. Go way to the other side, on the other side of his cheek. Same thing. A curved line. It kind of stops about the same place. Got it? Yeah, so his wings are tucked in at his side. So I'm going to go in just a little bit and show you where his left wings are. You can see that's where his left wing is. And then another line on the other side, and that's where his right wing is. So we made 2 curves on the left and 2 curves on the right. I'm going to put some zigzags right here so I can see where his wings are. Can you do that? And then his body, I'm going to put some curves like this to show feathers. How can we show that these are feathered wings, that they can expand? Do you remember that fact that the owl can fly silently? He has such large wings that sometimes you can't even hear them flying around in your trees at night. So add some straight lines where the wings are. And now in the middle is going to be his chest. So I started doing this, kind of like that for feathers. How do you want to show that there's a lot of feathers on the owl's chest? I'm making rows of curves, curve, 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 till I get all the way to the other side. You see? I'm connecting them. They kind of look like some letters. Can you see some letters? I see letter U. Could be letter W. Or sometimes if they're pointy, it could even be letter V. Got that? Fill in all the way from the top of his chest to the bottom of his chest. And now we're going to make those claws. I'm wondering how many you think he has. In this picture, you see some talons. You see how they're gripping onto the log of the tree? They're pointy, huh? They can even pick up small mammals. So we're going to add some of that. Here's 1, 2, 3 on this side. Curve this way, this way, this way. See? I gave him about 3. Make them really dark. Sometimes artists make lines thicker by going over them. They're thick and they're thin lines. And now we need to make our tree branch. I'm going to start way on the left. I'm going to go to the top of his claws all the way across. And here's the bottom of the branch. These are horizontal lines. They lay down. Now this is a real tree, so it might have a little branch right here, Maybe one right here. Could even have one going down like this. Let's make some dash lines to show the texture and the roughness of the wood. Remember, dash lines are very short, straight lines. And then what do you think is a good color to color our branch? Maybe brown, maybe some gray. We can even do some color mixing. I want you to color the tree branch that the owl is sitting on. Notice when you go over that black crayon, a little brown and black start to mix together. Kind of make some new shades of brown. Don't forget to color your little branches like this. There's some brown. Here's a different brown. I have a darker brown. You can add some of that. Or even gray. You have that color. You can use some of that. Good. Now he's sitting in a tree. I'm not sure what kind of tree he is exactly, but it might have some leaves. If it's a pine tree, it might be some needles, just little dash lines. Or you could make ovals if you know how to make leaves like that. Show that your tree has some leaves or some needles like an evergreen tree. I have two greens, do you? I have light green and then I have a yellow green. I'm going to mix some of those colors. Great. So now he kind of looks like a snowy owl, right? He's all white. But I want you to use your imagination and your creativity. What colors do you want to color your owl? We can have fun and we can make him maybe a rainbow owl. Or if you like cool colors like blue, green, and purple, your owl can be blue, green, and purple. Or how about warm colors, red, orange, and yellow? This can be an imaginary owl. It doesn't matter to me. So look at your crayon box and decide we're going to color the entire owl. And I want you to have fun. And I might even do a rainbow on his chest. If you'd like to do that, you can follow along with me. But if not, you can do what you want. Do y'all know the order of the rainbow? It's Roy G. Biv. You remember that? That's a way to remember it. It's a man's name. So red begins with R. So that goes first. O in Roy stands for orange. Then Y. Can you guess what color is for Y? That's right, yellow. But you can have fun using all the different colors that you have in your color box. You might even want to add some pink if you like a pink owl. How about a purple owl? That would be funny. But this is art, and you can be creative and color it whatever you like. So after G is Biv, and that stands for blue, indigo, and violet. Indigo is a color kind of like a bluish purple. So after we color blue, I have some purple colors. If you'd like to have a realistic looking owl, you can use colors like tans, grays, browns, blacks. It really doesn't matter. Now, owls, we say they are nocturnal, so that means they're more awake in the nighttime. So we're going to have to make a night sky later on. So what are we going to have to put in the sky to show that it's nighttime? That's right, a moon. Moons can be different phases. You can do a full moon. In some of our art in the past, we've done a crescent-shaped moon or a half moon. So we're going to be able to draw a moon in the sky. I love how my brown is mixing with the black here. Can you see that? And I'm just coloring quickly so you can get the idea of it. Yeah. And then around his cheeks we could add some more brown feathers and crayon colors. Might even have some right here on his forehead. That makes him look wise, huh? Yes. I have a gray color. I like a color right here. The brown and the gray. I wonder if this is a screech owl or a barn owl. Those are two types that we heard today on our video. Great. Don't forget to add your moon. I'm going to do a crescent shape. I'm going to do it over here. Remember, a crescent shape is a curve and a curve like this. And what else should we put in the night? How about some stars? Just making little yellow circles. Now, if you wanted your drawing to be realistic, you could shade black. Do you know what shading means? That means coloring very lightly to show the night sky. I'm not pressing hard. Have you ever tried shading? But if you want your sky to be realistic, you can do black. But what if you wanted a red sky? I think that's perfectly fine. I'm softly coloring around the owl to show the night sky. I'm not covering up my stars, I'm going around them. All the way to the very bottom. Don't forget to color under the branch if you have some space as well. Great, I really like him. I'm trying to think about one last part that I can color. Let's see, maybe I'll do his forehead for Ray. And then what are you thinking about his eyes? I haven't used pink yet. Let me do this color pink. And all of my owl will be finished. If you haven't had a chance to finish coloring your owl, once I finish coloring the eyes, your teacher can pause the video and then join us back when you've all finished coloring the owl. I'm not going to forget to color these little feathers up here at the top. Great. Join me back when you finish coloring your owl. Now let's make a speech bubble for what your owl is saying. The words or sounds a character actually says is always enclosed in quotation marks. They look like hanging commas. Maybe you have practiced these with your teacher, or maybe not. Follow along with me. My owl is going to say who, like that. So do you have your small piece of paper? This is how you spell who. We're going to start with the capital letter because it's the beginning of a sentence. So this is how you spell who. H-O-O, right? He's going to say it 2 times, so I'm going to put a comma. Have you ever put a comma? It's kind of like a little banana at the bottom. Now he's going to say it again. This time I don't have to put a capital letter. Who. And he's saying this pretty loudly. So do you remember what punctuation mark shows emotion and the loudness of it? So it's an exclamation point. Can you do that? All right, so let me show you how to do the quotation mark. So you go to the beginning of the sentence, and it's like double hanging bananas at the top. That starts the talking words, and then at the end, double hanging bananas the other way, and that closes the talking words. If your owl wants to say something else, like eek, this is how you spell that. You write the words that your owl is saying. Remember to open the quotation, the exclamation point, and close the quotation. Now I'm going to draw an oval all the way around it. That's making a speech bubble. And then a little arrow to show where it's going to come from. You're going to cut this out, and then later we're going to glue it. So I've cut my speech bubble out, and it's pointing this way, so it's going to look like the owl is saying it. So I'm taking my glue stick. I'm going to put a little glue circle right near the top, because that's where the sound is coming from the owl, his mouth. And then it's going to be kind of hanging off like this. So now we know exactly what sound our owl is going to make. I hope you enjoyed drawing the owl today and learned some interesting facts about owls. I think it is so interesting how owls, like many other animals, use sounds to communicate with one another, and how they probably couldn't survive in their habitat without hooting or screeching. Maybe one night soon you'll go out and hear an owl hooting, and you'll be able to guess what you think they are trying to say. Join me back here next week, where we will have another visual or creative movement lesson.